Oh, lovely, lovely. A little cheese. I'm still working on my little chai tea latte here.
Well, I finished the ginger lime mule, which was very
Okay.
good, I will say.
I like a ginger lime flavor. I like that.
And then I'm on the grapefruit paloma, which I don't really know how I feel about this one
Mm.
because I just kind of feel like half of the joy of the paloma is
Yeah.
the alcohol, because it is a very simple drink, but it's not bad. But it's also could be grapefruitier,
Hmm.
but that's okay. I'm not
Interesting. Well, at
mad.
least you tried it. You tried it.
I did. I tried it. Could be better. Could be worse.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we're back. This is the our final recording of our mega episode
And
session
up those
today.
lights because it's getting dark, baby.
Yeah, it is dark. Yeah, so we've just been carrying on, recording some good content for you guys.
I hope it's good content.
We hope so. Yeah, we hope so. Let us know. Leave us a review. Please
And
and
if it's
thank you.
not, be polite.
Be very polite, okay? We have
I'm
some
fragile right now.
feelings. We have some
I am
feelings.
fragile right now.
All right. Shall we get into what we've been reading? Do you want me to kick it off or do you want to start?
I don't care. Whatever you want.
Okay, I guess I don't have much to say because I just started this like last night.
Okay.
But I just started The Paying Guests by Sarah Waters,
Did I read that
who
one?
I don't think
No.
so.
I read The Fingersmith.
Yeah. I love Sarah Waters. She's become a favorite author for sure. I've read Fingersmith, uh Tipping the Velvet, and something about the
The
little
house
stranger.
one. The little
Oh,
stranger.
Little
The little house.
Stranger.
The one about the house. Yeah.
Little
I
Strangers. But
read
this is
that
my
one.
fourth one. And so far it's really good. I just really love how she writes a story. It's 1922 and we're in London. We're with a widowed Mrs. Ray and her daughter Frances, who was unmarried, and the husband slash dad is has passed away, and they are managing this house where people come to stay, so they're like landladies now, which the daughter thinks is pretty cool, and is kind of excited to be a landlord. But her mother is like us, it's just so like not what we're supposed to be doing. And I'm only, I don't know, two chapters in. The chapters are kind of long, but sometimes I really enjoy. And so I'm just starting to meet like some of the guests that are coming in, and some of them are a real hoot. And I enjoy when a new guest comes in, and reading how Sarah Waters is giving us a little bit of info about this guest, and giving us a chance to get to know who's going to be staying at this home with these ladies. So far I'm really into it, and I have high hopes. So that is The Paying Guests by Sarah Waters.
I mean, I'm sure it's going to be good because her books are always good. Sorry, I'm playing with my
Yeah.
like nebula thing. Um, and see, like I have like green dots on me. No
Oh
one's coming to
yes.
sniper me. Um, and I like the way she does like setting in place. Like I feel like they're put in really great
Mm-hmm.
scenarios. Like I
Mm-hmm.
really, yeah. And she's
Yes.
Welsh. I do like some Sarah Waters.
Oh, yes.
Um,
Yes.
I finished yesterday, this morning, sometime. I don't know. Time is irrelevant to me.
It's a thing. That's
Um,
all I know.
uh, Brainworms, which is the new Alison
Mm.
Rumfit that's coming out next week, I believe, as of recording this, and will probably be out when you are listening to this. And I have complex feelings about this. Um, I don't know how many people are gonna enjoy this. So this is a horror book um about a trans woman and her relationship um with this other person, um and basically turfs, and is a look at how things are kind of going specifically in the UK around trans rights. And it's set
Mm.
in this context of a horror story, much like a Tell Me I'm Worthless. But I feel like Tell Me I'm Worthless was done a little bit better,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of just like a story itself as a story. And then this as a story is a little bit messier. Um, and then the commentary that Alison Rumford is making is, I mean, it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And like the body horror in this is gruesome. Love it. Um, but it does feel a little messier than Tell Me I'm Worthless in some ways, and that's why I'm kind of mixed on it, because I want to be like so in love with it, but it is a bit messy. With the way that they dissect like hate and turfs and fascists and this like predatory sort of nature of these groups that go after people and debase people, and um, looking at the online world and how corrupt online can be. Um, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot in this. And yeah, so I still like, I don't know, I think I just was expecting more love than I have, but I don't hate this, and I did really enjoy this. I
Okay.
just I don't think everyone's going to, because there's a lot of trigger warnings. There are also a lot of very rough, like kinky fetishized sex play,
Ah.
that,
Mm-hmm.
and not in a like I read dark romance. No, like it is it is like back corners of the internet
Mm.
porn. Um
Wow.
and yeah, I'm still like grappling with like how I feel about this one. Um
Yeah.
but there are scenes, and there's a lot of like taking on of J.K. Rowling, which is fantastic. Um and I love it.
Yeah.
Um but like there's this all this stuff about like parasites and worms, obviously, and like basically like there's this whole idea of at the end, the people that are these people that are trying to be pushing some moral high ground are like the
Mm-hmm.
most depraved people. And
Mm-hmm.
like basically like what is depravity, who decides on morality,
Right.
and are you really the one to tell me that I'm amoral or immoral because of how I was born? um and that's kind of like a nice way of summing it up, but there's like
Yeah.
a lot of gross things in between. There's a lot of like worms coming out of people, worms in your brain, and there's a lot of just really 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 cringy scenes. There is some great parts. There's like before this one really vividly disgusting scene, the the narrator breaks the fourth wall and talks to the
Oh.
reader and is like, so you may want to put this book down and like go get a drink of water and like go like collect yourself before moving on to this next part, because it's going to be gross. And it
Oh.
is gross.
Okay.
So there is, I do like those bits. Like I do like when the narrator breaks the wall and talks to you as the reader, because I think that they're important. It really pulls you in. And I think the narration changes, in terms of style. You go to like second person and third person, and
Mm-hmm.
it's first person and second person, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. It's I'm still just very fascinated by Alison Rumford as a writer. I feel like they do really interesting things. Like their books are like unlike any other book that I ever read.
Yeah.
But this one just didn't feel as tight as Tell Me I'm
Interesting.
Worthless.
I know Willow from Books About Loves Tell Me I'm Worthless. I wonder if they've read this current one, and I wonder if they have what they think about it.
They probably like it. Oh, they probably have
I'm
read it. I
intrigued.
should say, not they probably like it. I don't know if they like it, but it's very, it's literally not going to be for everybody. So I'm telling you,
Yeah.
like, go. There's trigger warnings in the front. Read it if any of it don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Interesting.
even I was like, oh, okay.
Very interesting. Okay. Is this their
This
only
is
in
their
second novel?
second novel, at least
Okay.
that I believe is like traditionally published.
Okay. All right.
So
I still want to read the
yeah,
first one
it's
at
just
some point.
it's a very, I don't know how to explain why it just feels refreshing the way they construct and tell a narrative. It's very
Mm-hmm.
different. It's very, I don't know. This one was interesting. The ending was kind of wackadoodle. Um, but it just didn't have the same like it just wasn't as like cohesively tight as a narrative as Telling
Yeah.
and Worthless, which was
Hmm.
disappointing because I feel like that would have balanced out all of the other things that are going on in it that could be off-putting to somebody,
Right.
because maybe like, the body horror is too much, or maybe like the taboo stuff is too taboo, but if you had a little bit more cohesive of a narrative, it would
Yeah.
balance it out better.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm. All
but
right.
I'm very glad I read it.
Yeah.
And I need to see what they write next because I don't think I'm gonna read it. But
Yeah.
also I had my bookmark that my friend Emma sent me in it. She also has
Oh,
greyhounds.
that's very cute. Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
That's super cute. I love it. Well,
What are we doing here
today,
today? We are
I,
gathered here to do what, Naomi?
you know, uh, I had noticed on Instagram, Lemonade, and on Threads that there were a good number of readers talking about how stressful it is reading these arcs. And I was like, oh, well, what is this about? And
Because
from
we
what,
know I feel no stress.
well, and we're going to get into that because so as I read these posts and dug a little deeper, it seems as though these are readers who are working with the PR teams of authors, and they're on an ARC team. And so what's happening is these PR people are really aggressive in demanding that said reader, reads the book and then posts a review and then lets them know when and where they posted their review, and sending like first attempt emails with like a threatening tone, like basically if you don't do this we're going to like remove you from our arc team, period. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting. And I thought it'd be cool for us to talk about it because you and I do get a lot of arcs.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do not think, like, I don't work with any PR people, and I've never heard you talk about working with a PR person either.
Mm-mm.
So this stress that they're having, I think we don't have because we're just dealing directly with the publisher, and they don't really
I mean, I deal
require
with the
you.
PR people at Tor that are like, well, I guess they're publicists, right? Like, I deal with them, and
Right.
that's probably the closest thing, but
That's
they don't hound me for
but
anything.
that's the
If anything, they
publisher.
hound me to accept a book and
But
talk
they're
about it somewhere.
but they're employees of the publisher, right? So
Yeah.
like I just consider that the publisher, where these are like PR companies that are working for the author, not in connection with the publisher.
Yeah, no. I don't have that problem.
Right. So I find it very interesting. Like, it must be true because I've seen several posts across these three platforms where people are like, I'm so stressed, and like people are really upset about the tone of these emails. And, I was like, oh, that's crazy. I didn't even know that anybody would be so bold as to like put all these like super requirements on you to like read or review the book, and then like email you back to like tell you like this is where I reviewed it and this is the link, and like for you to like threaten people if they don't do those things. And I'm trying to figure out how we got here where that's like
So
a
Who are
thing.
these people though? Are these like the emails you randomly get, or like that are like I'm representing this person and they
Yeah.
have this book and but are they from those emails? Like those people? Like who
I,
are these people? Who
I don't think
are
it's
these people?
I don't think it's obviously not one person. I just
No,
think
but
there
like
are
where do you
some. I think, like, I've been approached by PR people before. I normally don't work with them because they always want to give me a book. It's like I don't even read these kind of books. Like
yeah,
did you look at my page at all? If you did, you would know I don't read erotica, or I don't read that. So that's
yeah,
why I've never worked with a PR person, because it's like you all don't even do your own research. I'm the wrong person for this book
yeah.
completely.
I got something today or yesterday about somebody who's writing like a cookbook or a book about food or something. And I was like, look, and I'm like, what? What? You want me to
Yeah.
like make a post for you making one of the meal? Like what?
Right.
I'm not.
See, and this is what I'm trying to figure out. So I don't know. It's so strange. Like,
I mean, I
and
could do a
also,
YouTube video, but like, why?
but why? So I don't know if these are authors that are like indie published, or if there are authors that are like traditionally like I don't know what's going on. Like if you're traditionally published, doesn't all of your PR stuff, isn't it all handled through the publisher? Like you
Mm,
wouldn't have your own PR people, right?
I mean, I would assume so. My guess would be that these are indie published author or books, but I'd
Right.
be curious to see what books they're talking about, right? Like who are these? I want more details. Who are these
Yeah.
people? Um, because it just feels very strange. I would be very put off if you sent
Yeah.
me a nasty gram. Um, because I do get a lot of arcs, right? You get a lot of arcs. Um, and I don't read them all in the, I guess, traditional time frame. I
Right.
do tend to get to most things, not all of them, but I get to most things.
Yeah.
Uh, and I will talk about them somewhere. I talk about them a lot. I don't always review them, but I talk about them everywhere, somewhere. Um, but no one ever harasses me.
Right.
I might get fewer arcs. Maybe a publisher is like, she doesn't actually deliver the things that we really want to see. So I'm not going to send her, maybe that happens, but nobody ever like sends me a nasty gram.
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's so strange. I've never had anyone from a publishing house like threaten me in any way, or have this kind of tone like, you owe us this, so you better get that in, or else,
Or
like
else what?
never.
Did you accept money? Like, if you accept money, then you have a deliverable, then you have usually a contract. And so then, therefore, you have to deliver your deliverable or you're in breach of your contract and then you don't get paid. If that
Yeah.
hasn't happened, what
I
are you
mean,
going to do to me?
the or else is, or we're going to remove you from our arc team. And I guess I also didn't
All
know, because
right.
I don't read a lot of
Then
indie
I wouldn't want
books.
to be, but then I wouldn't want to be on your ARC team. If that's how
Right.
you're going to behave, there's thousands of books being published every year. I
Yeah.
don't need to be on your team. That's not the kind of team I want to be on.
But I wonder, I mean, maybe others feel differently,
I'm
like
sure they do.
I really didn't, I didn't realize, because I don't really read indie books. And so I was not really aware of like how deep this arc team thing was.
Hmm.
But apparently it's very deep, and it's very real, and it's very big, and people really like being on these arc teams. It's a big deal to them. So I guess if this is something that like you've really looked forward to, and then you get this letter or this email saying that if you don't get this review up by, I don't know, enter whatever date here, we're going to remove you from the arc team like indefinitely. I mean, maybe some people do feel pressure to like, oh my god, I need to like hurry up and like read and review this book so I can like stay on the
Yeah.
arc team. Like, I want to stay on the arc team so I can keep getting arcs from my favorite authors, and enjoy these books. So I don't think everybody's like, well, F it then, just like then kick me off the team. I think some people are feeling quite a bit of pressure to get those deliverables, in so they can remain on the arc team.
But if you're that invested in something, shouldn't you then,
Just buy the book.
or just read it and review it on time? Like, if so, I do occasionally read arcs for indie authors that
Mm-hmm.
I like, right? And I make sure to post my reviews when they're due, because you're working with an indie author. Like, it means something very different for me to have a review up on Amazon, and all the other people that got arcs to have their review up on Amazon, on Goodreads, on whatever, to have
Yeah.
those reviews there on pub day. It means
Right.
something. It's important. And not that it's not important for a traditionally published book, but it has more weight. There isn't that much other stuff going into marketing these books, right? Like, you have a much smaller pool of PR. So,
Yeah.
not that I think that anybody should be sending anybody any nasty grams, but like, if this is something that you're so invested in that you would be devastated if you were removed from the group, then
Yeah.
just do your deliverables. Am I
Well,
crazy?
you're not crazy. I understand that. So this one, and I'm not going to say her name because I just don't want to say her Instagram name, but she was
It's also
really
probably less
ranting.
about the people and more about
Yeah.
the topic. So
Yeah. I mean, she did this post about arc reading is stressful. And she wanted to share her particular experience. And she says that, she considers herself a fairly reliable arc reader reviewer. She doesn't make it a habit of not completing her task based on whatever date that she's been given. But in the same breath, she was like, hello, but I do have a life and I am human. And sometimes I do miss things. And if
yeah,
that
okay,
happens, I
fair.
don't expect to be berated by a PR person because I didn't make this deadline. Like, you have no idea what's going on with me in my own personal life. And it's not like I didn't do it on purpose. And so to have someone come at me in that tone, me, a grown woman, just feels inappropriate and disrespectful. So that was kind of,
Well, yes, I think reaching out to anybody like that is inappropriate. I don't think that it's appropriate to t- the tone of the person's email shouldn't be like attacking or belittling
yeah,
or like anything negative like that. That's inappropriate. That's But
yeah,
also, I mean, I know that we don't get paid for these things, but it's essentially like a business exchange, right? Like, you got a
yeah,
thing in the assumption is that you're going to do a thing. So, if you're not going to be able to fulfill your deadline, couldn't you reach out and be like, if it was work, wouldn't you, and you were going to miss a deadline, wouldn't you reach out to your team or whoever or your lead and be like, hey, I'm running behind because of X, Y, and Z. Even if you don't tell them that, like, there's
mm-hmm,
been some holdups, we're gonna have it done on this date.
right.
You know, but I also,
Ye-
I don't. This isn't to like say like the PR teams are without any, like, no, you shouldn't be like, it's not that serious. Like, relax.
I have to read you this email that she was sent because, I mean, the tone is making me like, who are you talking to? So it says, you have received this email because you were signed up for whatever ARC or release team and received an arc of whatever book. I have sent this email to you as a last reminder that being on whatever's arc team, release team, means you need to turn in the follow up form so I can track reviews. Due to there being so many reviews for X amount of books on multiple platforms, we ask that anytime you read an arc of her books, that you fill out the required follow-up form. A review on Amazon and BookHub or Goodreads is the one thing that X asks for in return for the arc provided. Note, when you filled out the application to be on the ARC team, release team, you agreed to read and review the ARC provided and to complete the follow-up form. Failure to review will result in removal from the ARC team. If you would just take a few minutes to fill out the form so you can remain on the team. Then it says, important. If I don't receive your follow-up form by Monday, October 2nd, I will have to remove you from the ARC team. And while I understand there's a lot of importance behind these, especially these indie authors getting these reviews, and on time for pub day, but like at the same time, like your PR team is like turning people off. This is not how you build a good like
Yeah.
reader author relationship. Nobody wants to be under that kind of stress. Even if you did miss a deadline, like this is, I don't think this is how you like build a lasting relationship. This is how you, this is basically a template. I know that this is what they send out to everybody who's missed a deadline or is coming up close to the deadline. You're going to turn so many people off. Then who are you going to have? I think indie authors struggle enough.
Yeah. And also, but I wonder, like, how did you choose your arc? Shouldn't you have enough arc readers that you should have built in some amount of people that don't review the book? Isn't there like some expectation, like, and I don't know, I've never had to do this, but like, wouldn't you have some expectation that there's somebody, like, a percentage of the people that got arcs aren't going to actually
I
review the
mean,
arcs?
yes, you should always build those numbers in, right? But I
So
don't know if
then,
they're doing that. I also don't know how easy or how hard it is for an indie author to get ARC readers. I am just not in that world, and I don't know how
I mean, I don't
difficult or
know if
easy that
how
is.
I don't know how you get on an ARC team like this because I have there are platforms that are similar to like a NetGalley where you can get ARCs for indie books and you have to agree to certain terms when you do that you're going to
Okay.
not share the book, you're going to publish something by this time, you're going to be on these platforms. Um, and I do think you have to go back and put in links to them, or at least the last one I did. I can't remember the name of the platform I was using, but and I did go in and I did link them back in, but I never got any like nasty reminder emails or anything. It's just more like if you don't, then you're not going to get approved for stuff, right? Like you, if
Right.
you know, like if you don't engage with the rules and follow the rules, then next time you want to get a book or, you know, after a while, like if you want to get one, that you're
Yeah.
not going to be able to access them because they're going to be like, this person just doesn't do what they say they're going to do, which I think is fair. Um,
Yeah. But even that's a little different, right? Like a
but that's not
platform versus
somebody
a PR
sending me a
team.
nasty gram and being like,
Right.
where's my
Right.
stuff?
Right. I just didn't know this was happening. And I was just like so surprised. I was like, oh, is this really going on? Like this is a thing?
I
And
didn't
like
know it was
once I
happening
saw like
either.
two people's posts, I just kept seeing posts and I was like, what is going on?
This has
It's,
to be in the romance space or something, somewhere where we don't read. Because I've literally never had a publisher say anything to me.
I know, but these aren't publishers. These are just PR
I
people.
know. And
These are
you would
PR
think that the
people.
publishers would be like, yo, bitch, I
Right.
sent you a whole ass finished copy of a book. Where's my
Right.
review?
Right. But on a lot of those letters from the publisher, it's like you are not required to post a review, but if you would like to, use these hashtags. The only time where I have a specific deadline is when I'm asked if I want to participate in a campaign for a book and I
Mm-hmm.
say yes. And then
Yeah.
like I put that effing campaign due date like on all my calendars and I set it like, you know what I mean? Like I do the thing, and that's a little different. But like in general, there's just no requirement for us to do that for a publisher. So I find it really interesting and kind of funny about all these high standards the PR people have. So I don't know.
It's weird to me.
It's weird too because I also wonder how the authors feel about it, or like, do the authors even know this is how their PR people are communicating with the ARC readers?
What if the author is the PR person? Oh,
Oh my gosh! Oh, surprise! Didn't think
surprise,
about that.
surprise.
Didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm. So, new
Did not think
conspiracy
about
theory.
that.
Authors be out here just nasty gramming people. They probably
Right.
do, honestly.
That's
There's probably
interesting.
some group of authors that send out their own arcs and then get really nasty with people. I'm sure there's someone out there that has that story
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I would just say, honestly, don't work with that person. Like, I don't know what else you get out of these teams other than to get early access to some authors' books that you like. But half
Right.
the time these things are on Kindle Unlimited, and I know you pay for Kindle Unlimited, but like a lot of romance readers, I am assuming this is in the romance space. Um, they have Kindle Unlimited because so many things are in there. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know.
It's weird to me.
Buy the
It's
book.
weird to me. Yeah. Also
That's a very
confirms that I've
privileged statement, though. Not everybody can buy books, but you know, like
right.
it's like I don't know what. Go to the library. I don't know what to tell
I
you.
mean, it
Ask
it
your library to get a
confirms to
copy.
me that I made the right decision in not working with PR teams. But again, I'm just initially turned off because it's like you're offering me books I don't even read. So
Yeah.
and that's always a turn off for me when someone approaches me about a book, and it's like I don't read that kind of book. Why are you in my DMs? Get out of here.
Oh, there's always some bro that's like, I wrote a fantasy book, and can you like no?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry.
It's weird. Anyway, I just found that very interesting because I was like, oh,
It's
Alyssa and I do
interesting.
not have these issues. We don't. And then I was like, why are they having these issues and Alyssa and I don't? And that's when I was like, oh, okay, so they're not talking about they're talking about PR teams, not associated with
Yeah,
publishers.
it would
If
be
you're
interesting if there are publishers out there acting a fool like that. But
right now, I'm curious. And is anybody out there? Are you a regular on any ARC teams with PR companies? How's your experience been? Because I'm just really curious. And how did you get on the ARC team? Did you find it? Did they approach you? Did they email you? Did they DM you somewhere? Like, how did you even get on the ARC team?
I want to
And
know
do
how
you
people get all these PR boxes. Usually, like when
like,
people get like a book and they get like wine with it and like other things. I'm like, I get nothing. I got
uh,
stickers with Death Valley though, and I like them.
yeah, I mean, I think it just depends. Sometimes I get stuff, sometimes I don't.
I
Like
I'm
that,
not
you know?
I'm not important though. You're more
I'm
important than I am.
not like some of these other book people, that's for damn sure. That's
Where are
that's
you
that's for
now?
sure.
Every so often, I have to look you up to see how much further you've blown past me.
I don't know where I am. Are you talking about
I
what?
know because
Like where?
you don't pay any damn attention.
Oh, what are you talking about
Um,
where I am? What are you talking about?
you're at 8. Yeah, you've got like you're gonna be at 10,000
Oh, you
soon.
talking about followers? Oh, I
Yeah,
have no freaking idea.
yeah.
I just cannot. I can't focus on it. I don't know.
You don't need to focus on it. I'm just you've got like twice as many
Oh,
followers as me. You're the big honcho in this pairing.
I don't think.
You are the celebrity.
I don't think I'm growing though.
I don't know if
I
anybody's really
wouldn't know
growing on
if I
Instagram
actually
anymore.
tracked my numbers, but I can't even tell you if I've grown.
I don't know if anybody's growing on Instagram.
Well, that's true. That's the word on the street.
I
That's
think
the
it's
absolute
I don't
word on
know
the
how you
street.
grow on Instagram anymore.
I
It's
don't either. I don't either. This is why I
yeah.
just don't focus on it. I cannot stress myself out about
I just like to
what Instagram
remind
is
you
doing with
that
the
you are a very
algorithm this week.
important lady.
You're a very important lady.
No, I'm not. I'm just the meanie that
Any
takes
listen,
on
Tor
British
sends you
booktubers.
books. Tor sends you books.
Tor
Okay,
does send me a lot
that
of
is the
books.
fantasy holy grail.
No, Orbit is, but Tor,
Are they?
I don't know.
I feel like Tor is
Orbit's
the
so
holy
much
grail.
harder. Orbit's so much harder to get books from.
Well, I don't ask for everything when they send stuff. I've only asked for two things. I'm just saying.
Mostly I get books when Orbit wants me to get books.
Do you always say yes to whatever they send you?
No, but they don't always ask me.
Yeah, I don't. I haven't. I don't know what their rhythm is. I've not been with them long enough to know like what is their rhythm of sending out
What is
book
the
offers.
rhythm of
You know.
the night? Oh yeah.
But you know how Tor works, and you have a relationship with your Tor rep. Yeah.
Yeah, I always go. There's a bunch of tour reps. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Orbit operates that way. I don't know. I haven't figured them
I
out
don't
yet.
know what they do.
Yeah, I
I don't
haven't
know
figured
how
that out yet.
KDP works. Like not KDP, Knopf and their friends. Um,
We know how they work because they send us those
yeah, but I
emails.
don't. I get books sometimes, then I don't get books. Then like on the fifth railing, they like send me a book, and then
Oh,
it just is. I
yeah.
just vibe. I just vibe, Naomi.
I mean, it's funny because like I did ask for that new Joe Nesbo book, The Night House, and I didn't get it at first. But then I got an email from the Knopf rep, and she was like, "Hey, guess what? We're going to send you a final copy of The Night House and a
Same.
pen." And so then I got these. But the first go round, I did not get it.
Yeah, I just have the pin right now. The book's coming.
Right. You see what I'm saying? But like, I did initially ask for the
I thought
book.
it was weird. I went back and looked at the book at the email because I was like, I just got a pin. Did she just send me a pin?
They sent
I
it
mean,
separately because
that's,
she
I
sent
know.
another
She sent a
email.
second
Yeah.
email and I was
Yeah.
like, all right.
Yeah.
I think I had like just woken up to go to like get ready for work and I was like, I have a pin. Okay.
Exactly. I love this cover though.
Yeah, I'm
I want to
excited
try
for
to
that
read
one.
it this month.
That one I'm excited for.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the whole arc thing becomes a very interesting conversation to have with people.
That it
Um,
is.
there's definitely people that very firmly believe that if you get an arc, you have to read the arc, and if you don't read it in time, like you're like breaking some cardinal rule of book reviewing. And I don't think it's that serious, but I do think if you do agree to post a review by a certain time, then
Yeah.
you've made an agreement to do something in exchange for something else, and therefore
Yeah.
you should do it.
Yeah.
So if you can't do that, you should be the one who's proactively reaching out and saying like, "Hey, look, I know I agreed to X, Y, and Z, but like my mom died and I'm not going to be able to do that."
Right. Right.
Say like open your mouth,
Yeah.
because that's what you would do in a real job that was paying you. Um but yeah, no, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Read the
It's
books. Don't read the books. Don't read the books and take a picture of them and put them on Instagram. Just
yeah, I mean, I
have
guess
Chat GBT write reviews for you for NetGalley. I don't know what to tell you. Just do something.
yeah. Yeah. I just thought it was very weird. I was
I
like,
mean, it's very
"Wow,
interesting.
that is a
And it's
threatening
definitely
email. Wow."
it's definitely an area of book reviewing that you and I don't operate in.
No, that's why I was so shocked. I was like, "What is happening? This is going
Yeah.
on? Really?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a surprise to me. I just was completely clueless. I've
It
heard
is
of ARC teams. I just did not know what was going down in the ARC teams.
yeah. I've been on like street teams like where you're like promoting a book on its way out, but
Yeah,
like to publication and all that, but
yeah,
I don't know,
yeah.
it's very weird.
Very much so. Very
Very
much.
weird. I don't you know what, guys? It's only reading and I know that it's like my entire personality and it's very important to me, but it's really not all that serious. Like don't don't be stressing yourself out like this.
Seriously.
You don't need there's enough other things. You don't need this stress.
Seriously.
Mm-mm.
And you can just as easily not be on any ARC team and just read the book at your leisure,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly. This is all a social construct that has been put together to make you feel FOMO, so stop it.
I love that. Well, that's it. I just wanted to talk about that briefly because it was
Well, I'm glad we talked about it because I didn't know that that was happening either. And like you told me about it, I was like, "What?"
there's so many different conversations happening now about, the book world. Like I was reading some article about the broken system that is book blurbs. Did you hear about that? We should maybe talk about that on another
No.
episode. Let's make that another episode.
You know
Or
what
maybe
we
we could
need to
talk
talk
about it on a live on
we
Saturday.
need to maybe we'll talk about that on Saturday. And the other thing I want to maybe talk about on Saturday, which will be in the past for you listening to this,
Yes, it
folks,
will be in the past.
is so I don't know since you don't spend any time on Book Talk, but I don't know if you've heard about the man of Book Talk, Nate Lemke, um,
No, not
and
at all.
his. All right, so he wrote this horrendous book, and he got basically just eviscerated by Book Talk because he went on and was like, "Hi, I'm Nate, and like I wrote this book, and um, I'm going to read and review a book every day written by a woman because I've never really read any women before, um, until my book gets on the like New York Times bestseller list. And that was like basically the gist of the first thing. And then Book Talk like
Okay.
eviscerated him for many reasons. Because one, what do you mean you've never read women before? Why are, and then two, why are you using women to promote your, like, why are you using us? Like that's like, we're not
Right.
a tactic. Like three, why are you saying this while standing in front of Catcher in the Rye that's sitting on a literal pedestal?
Oh.
Four, you can't get an indie published book, like a self-pub book, on the New York Times bestseller list. That's not how that works. And like it just like went on and on. Also, his book's name is Manic Pixie E-Girl, and we don't need your misogynistic incel book here, sir. So it became this whole big thing, and
Wow.
I did end up reading it. It was horrendous. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is of me bringing this all up is that he is like one of many, I feel like, men, but also just people in general who seem to be like coming in to particularly book talk, but then into other areas
Yeah.
of social media and trying to use like book talk
Uh-huh.
to create like some sort of fame, influencer notoriety,
Oh.
refresh their image, whatever it is. And it's, I don't know, it's like really off-putting, especially when it's, I find the men thing really off-putting because so much of the book community really is women. Not that there aren't
Yeah.
men here, but
Yeah.
it's such a huge portion of women, and it's definitely like
Yeah.
book talk is very much like a female space.
Exactly.
And to have these men come in and very openly use them, use women, and then also the way that men rise so much faster on these
It's
platforms is
unbelievable.
so strange. So we should talk about that on Saturday because I find it
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and just that whole thing with this one guy just like really hit it home to me, like how bizarre all this behavior is. And he obviously wasn't successful. He just has had like a lot of like flash in the pan kind of success
Right.
because people are obviously looking at him, but it's that kind of negative publicity sort of thing. Um,
Yeah.
but it's interesting because you see it
Gosh.
all the time, right? Like some dude will post about a couple books and he'll make a couple videos or TikToks or
I mean,
whatever,
I see it on BookTube.
and
Like
then
it'll be a
suddenly they're
brand new
like
channel, and then like in a month, it's like they
they have
got
like
5,000
40,000
followers.
followers, and
It's
you're like, what?
crazy.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. I mean, is
I
it?
will
I don't
tell
know.
you, as a
Is it
small
bros supporting
booktuber,
bros? You know what I mean? Is it
I
bros
don't
supporting
know.
bros? You know.
As like a small booktuber, it does have me sitting here being like, what the why do I suck so much?
I I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
So
Yeah, that'd be
we'll
yeah,
talk more about this. I think it's, and I think it's just like an interesting.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like I don't know how I feel about book talk in general. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's like boring to me.
We've talked about that a lot. That like
Yeah,
it's, I don't know, sometimes I mean I make book things over there. I make other things over there. I don't make like a
yeah,
ton of content over there. Mostly consume content over there.
yeah.
And I will comment on book things over there, but you know,
Look,
it's not my be all
I,
and end all.
I,
And they
s-
get in so many fights over there over things.
I heard.
So many
I
fights.
heard. So I hear a lot of things on like Lemonade about stuff about book talk. There's a
Yeah.
lot of like book talk people or book talk consumers rather that are on Lemonade. That's how I know about the popular books that are on book talk because the people on Lemonade are like, got these recs from book talk, like this is basically all Lemonade is just like book talk people. So that's how I know about some of that stuff. But I don't know, like call me old fashioned. I just still like long form video about books.
I do like long form videos. The other thing that irritates me about book talk in particular is because there's you can get so much content
Mm-hmm.
um so quickly, is the amount of TikToks that are somehow addressing something being problematic in some
Mm-hmm.
way gets exhausting, like
Mm.
absolutely exhausting, because you get so many of them, whereas you might like watch one video where someone gives you like a very in-depth, you know, discussion and nuance on something. These are just, there's just so, you're like bombarded and you're like
Uh,
everything can't be problematic
right.
because it's
Right.
just the sheer volume of those videos. It, I'm like, I need to go search out puppies now because they need to get off of my FYP because
Yeah.
I can't see any more of these today. It's too much. I'm stressed now.
Yeah. It's really
And then they get in
interesting.
fights about like who's right about it. Like it just kind of just gets more like twisted as, because it's just too much content. It's too much.
Yeah, it's weird because, for whatever reason, I want my TikTok to remain like a book free zone. I don't want to talk about books on TikTok. I don't want to see books on, it's a very book free zone for me over there.
Hmm.
I'm on TikTok for like other TikTok stuff. I don't want to talk books over there. I don't want to see books. I don't want to see it. I go to my Facebook and my Instagram and my YouTube and my Lemonade for my books.
Yeah.
TikTok, book free zone.
Yeah. It gets
Yeah.
very interesting over there. Um, like I kind of weave in and out. So depending on how much I've engaged, I'll like weave in for a bit and then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, nope, 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 nope. And then I'll weave back
It's
out. And then,
so
you know,
funny.
it's very interesting.
So funny. Although
It's
there
a
have been a
little,
couple of times where a book person ended up on my FYP and they were like live, and I was like, "Oh, I should join this conversation." I was like, "No, I'm not. Goodbye." But I
no, the
thought about it
lives
for a
that
hot
show up
second.
for me are the people that are doing that NPC, like vaguely cam girl stuff where they're like, flowers.
Oh,
Thank you.
give me.
Yeah, that's the stuff that ends up on my lives that pass through.
That's
I'm like,
funny.
I probably because I've stopped so many times and been like, what the
I
fuck?
know. I'm like, what is going on?
I don't like this. I'm just perplexed.
Yeah,
But
TikTok's a really interesting place, but yeah,
yeah, I do think it's just too much content. I think it's too much content. I think it's too much content to have a nuanced discussion on anything. And it
for
just
sure.
becomes a little bit more like Twitter with sound and
Yeah,
it's too much.
yeah. Yeah. But hey, you TikTok girlies, book talk girlies, have a blast and enjoy. Enjoy. I just, not for me. I'm going to ride hard for BookTube forever.
I prefer booktube. I
I'm riding hard
prefer,
for it forever. I just,
and
and
also
look, when I
making
see a
TikTok a
45
longer
minute,
form.
yeah,
But they made it longer. You can make like 10-minute videos. Then what the fuck is the point of this? Then go over to booktube.
I know. But there's nothing better than when one of my favorite booktubers has like a 45-minute video. The joy I feel in my soul. I'm like, ooh, 45 minutes of book talk. I'm all for it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Shall
Anyway,
we
book
wrap up with
recommendations?
some recommendations?
Sure. You want me to go?
Yeah.
Uh, I read. It's actually funny. So I saw this book originally going around on BookTok
That we just went full circle. You see how that worked?
by the author, and I think it's like self-pub, indie pub. I can't exactly tell. Um, and what caught my eye is that it was like a sci-fi fantasy that, I guess it's sci-fi. That centered around an older main character and that they're married. So it wasn't like your like 17-year-old reluctant female hero, plucky
Mm.
teenager, and that's The Surviving Sky, which
Hmm.
is by Kritika H. Rao. I'm going to try to say that
Oh.
correctly. It's quite long. The real cover is very beautiful in color. And this is got like Southeast East Asian influence up the freaking wazoo, and it is wonderful. Um, I love that we have this sort of estranged marriage, um, and it's just like it's like such a refreshing point of view for an old lady.
Wow.
And um, basically, you're in this post apoc, well, this post like climate apocalypse world, and where people have had to take to the skies, and they kind of have these like floating land masses that they live on, like
Oh my
kind of
gosh.
in the cover, and they're all kept going by trajection, which is this thing that certain people can do, and they're like called the architects, and it's like they can do this sort of metaphysics stuff. It's very interesting world that she's created. And then there are like regular people who are not, and the architects are kind of very secretive. There's some question of whether or not they have the power to keep going with um, to keep these floating land masses going.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like they're not as strong as they used to be. There's this thing that can happen called like ecstasy, where they get like too much power, and then it
Mm-hmm.
sort of corrupts them and like destroys them. So they try to never get there, and um, on Earth, which they float over, there's these things called like Earth rages, and that's what made the people leave. And basically, this the wife is not an architect. The husband is. He's very powerful. They have a falling out because she doesn't want to have children, and he she's an archaeologist, which is like a bogus thing to be when
Uh-huh.
there you can't even be on the earth, but she believes that there's like stuff on the earth to like know. Um, and basically, the book one is setting up that there is more to the story of their past as people than um, was previously like known or admitted to. Um, and then we'll find out more, obviously, in the next couple books that haven't come out yet. This just came out this year, about all of that. But it's so
Wow.
interesting and different and fun, and I really loved it. The only thing that I found a little bit off-putting is some of the use of this whole like, do I have kids, do I not have kids, pregnancy stuff, because I never really like when that becomes part of a trope, but that's
Yeah.
fine. I get why it's there. These are older people, these are conversations you have.
Right.
um it's not like a oops, I got pregnant, now we have to have a, it's not that kind of thing. So
Right.
it's much more adult, which I really enjoyed. Um, and it's not magic, but it's just like the world and the science of it is interesting. The use of like reincarnation and all kinds of different things from like Southeast Asian myth and culture is
Interesting.
very interesting, um, and like genuine. So I love it. Very interesting. Can't wait to know more. It is kind of one of those ones that's difficult to get into a little bit with all of the world stuff and
Mm-hmm.
what the hell are you talking about? like
Right.
like what do you mean trajecting? Like all that, but it's good. It's and I like how they use like relationships too. Like people just are queer or
Yeah.
not queer, and there's no more, like people just exist. Like I can
Right.
just be like this person and their wife, and
Right.
they're both women, and you don't have to have any more to it. It's just an accepted thing in this advanced world that people are with the people they're with, and that's it.
I
And
love
it's
when I
lovely.
read
I
something
love when
like
books
that.
do that.
Yep, me too.
So yeah,
This
it's good.
sounds good.
It's good. It's long. It's good.
Mm. I
I
like
enjoyed
it.
it.
It's not just on Kindle, is it?
No. I just
Mm.
have it on my Kindle.
Mm. Can you just send me the title and the author in our chat on
Yeah.
Instagram or a text just so I can like make a note of it in my Goodreads? That sounds good.
Yes, ma'am.
I like it. Okay, I'm glad you enjoy that. So that's just someone that just randomly came across your FYP on TikTok and you were like, okay, yeah, I'll read that.
Yeah, it was an author that just kind of came up, and then the book kind of came up, and I'm like, oh, that's a pretty cover. And then I'm like listening, and it just kind of randomly kept coming up every so often. And then I finally was like, okay, I need to get this. I think I like missed an arc, like a call for arc readers, and I was like, oh damn. And
Yeah.
so I had it on my radar to get it when it came out.
Okay. You
Because
may have dodged a bullet because you could have been getting one of those nasty grants
I
from a
know,
PR person. So,
what if I, yeah,
yeah.
it's like 700 pages. I probably wouldn't have read it in time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I am recommending The Art Thief, A True Story of Love, Crime, and a Dangerous Obsession by Michael Finkel. Thank you, Knopf, for this gifted copy. This was so great. It is a very short book, but
Mm-hmm.
it is so great. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Something Brightweiser. He is an art thief. And he has stolen, well, let me get the numbers right. He stole more than 300 artworks worth an estimated $2 billion in total. That is a lot of work. Um, Using his girlfriend as his lookout. So they were, the dynamic duo, if you will. And there are a few things that are really interesting about this guy, Brightweiser. One, he steals all this art with no intention of fencing it. He's not selling it to like make money or to get rich. It's all stored where he lives. Like he just wants to admire it. He feels like he's just a keeper and the protector of this wonderful art. And at some point in his life, when he's done with it, he will return it to its quote unquote rightful place, right?
How magnanimous.
Right? He also has some kind of disdain for other thieves because he feels like they're sloppy, they're just greedy, and what he's doing really isn't theft per se, but he's more like in a protector mode. So he
Oh,
has less respect
okay.
for other art criminals, although they're doing the exact same thing, minus him like not fencing the stuff. But you would think that someone like this is like living a really lovely, lavish life. No, he lives with his girlfriend in his mama's house. He lives with his mama. Okay.
No.
So there's this one piece of the chapter where it just like describes the house. And it's just like the complete opposite of what you would think his day-to-day living would look like, being this, fantastical, art thief or whatever. And this guy is just so full of delusion about what he's doing and his mission. And also, like, he really has a problem. It almost seems like it's it's less of something that he's just doing for fun. There's some kind of like, I don't know, like addictive need to do it. It's almost like he can't help himself. So he's a very interesting character. And at the same time kind of a terrible person. Like he's not a great son, which I must say the mother is kind of like helping that out a bit. She's always bailing him out. She doesn't really make him responsible for anything. um he's using his mother. He's living in her home. She's paying for his car. She's paying for his stuff. It's like he's a loser, but
Mm.
he's really gifted at stealing art. But he's a loser because he has nothing of his own. And if your mom has to bail you out at your big age, there's a problem here. Okay, there's a problem. So I was fascinated by this man, absolutely fascinated. This is a
My
very quick
mom
read,
did not bail
very
me out.
quick, very quick read. But I loved it. So that's The Art Thief: A True Story of Love, Crime, and a Dangerous Obsession by Michael Finkel. Out now from Knopf. Thanks, Knopf.
It's very interesting. My
It
mom would
really
not bail
was.
me out. My mom would be like, no. Why would you do that?
She just kept Alyssa. She kept bailing him out.
Absolutely not. She would not.
Like
She
it's almost like he had a hold over her. It was just a weird dynamic, very weird. Yeah. Oh my gosh, we did it! We recorded 3 episodes
I'm
when we
so
were
tired.
dog tired.
Oh
All right,
god.
that's gonna wrap it up for us. Listen, leave us a review. Be kind. Share this podcast with your friends. Visit our website, tbrlowdown.com. Join our Discord and our Patreon.
YouTube.
And YouTube. That just follow us everywhere, TBR Lowdown. We're tired. That's gonna do it for us. I'm hot and hungry. That's it. We're
As
out
your
of here.
t-shirt, I'm hot and hungry.
I'm hot and hungry. That's gonna do it for us. We're out of here. Bye.
Bye.